People have asked me if I thought the election was stolen. And my answer to that question is typically no. I don't think it was stolen. I think there were questionable pieces to the entire campaign. I think there was very questionable things about the Canadian media, very questionable things being done behind the scenes in the Liberal Party of Canada, including just the election of Mark Carney. How do you throw out 325,000 votes? How do you keep Chrystia Freeland and Justin Trudeau completely silent during the campaign? There's reasons for all of that, all of which we will never know probably. But do I think the election itself was stolen? No. I actually think the ground game for the Liberal Party of Canada was better than the Conservatives. And we're going to talk about that now because it's time for Conservatives and people who have now joined and come over to the Conservative Party of Canada to think about how to prepare for the next campaign. Because the next time we can't be beaten and we have to do this together. Let's go. Welcome back to Bakes on Things. It is time to stop sugarcoating it. The Conservatives lost the election. And I know it was 2 weeks ago, but we're hurting, aren't we? We're really hurting on this one because we didn't lose just by a hair and not just because of media bias. They lost the ground game. We all lost the ground game here. We got beat in the one part of politics that cannot be faked in any way, and that is getting people out to vote. Look, sure, we can sit around here blaming the CBC. They definitely had a part of it. Blaming other networks, blaming fake narratives being put out there about Pierre Poilievre, and that was all true. And sure, there's truth in all of that. But the Liberals didn't just spin stories that were fake, they also outworked us. And today, we're going to break down exactly how all of this happened. And it starts with the Liberal machine. Because, folks, the Liberal machine showed up. And while Conservatives were online arguing policy, I was one of them. The Liberals didn't have policy. And their policy was so terrible that they spent their time out knocking on doors. Literally, Larry and Linda Liberal showed up on their streets, clipboards in hand, middle fingers in the air, walking 3 blocks in both directions saying, "Are you voting? Do you need a ride? Here's where your poll is. Hey, want a gift card for some Tims after?" Yeah, that's right. The people the stories about people handing out $2 Tim cards to get you to come out and vote from the Liberal Party. It sounds absurd, doesn't it? But it happened. We've heard the stories, the Tim Hortons gift cards, the Uber vouchers, the free rides to polls, the seniors being walked to voting booths with coffees and hot chocolates in groups, neighbors recruiting neighbors. The Liberals were excellent at this ground game. They weren't arguing on Twitter. They were out in the streets, knocking on doors. They were working like it was a war to win this election because to them it was. To them, they despised Pierre Poilievre and they could not have him winning despite a decade of destruction. The Liberal base was fired up, organized, well-funded, and relentless. They had door knockers, phone bankers, volunteer drivers, and most importantly, they treated this like a campaign and not a content war. See, we needed to share the Conservative content because it mattered. It was real change, but we didn't treat it like a campaign when it counted. So let's talk about that. Where did Conservatives fumble this? Well, to be honest, Conservatives had the momentum. We know this. They had the polling numbers. Poilievre had the anger of working families, small businesses, truckers, and homeowners. So what the heck happened? Well, when game day came, too many Conservative supporters stayed on their couch at home, especially the young people. See, we all got out for the early vote, but something went wrong on election day. And why is this? Because no one knocked. No one had a ground game that day. No one followed up. No one helped get these people to the polls. We assumed that the advanced polls were winning this for us. People underestimated the liberal ground game, which was excellent. Again, it consistently is. They've got this down to a science. People assumed high gas prices, food bills were enough to win. They weren't. They weren't yet, right? And the conservatives put too much faith in ads, in social media engagement, in national debates and rallies, and not enough in door to door operations. That doesn't mean those things shouldn't have been done. They absolutely should have. The groundswell was amazing, but we needed the micro targeted approach. And we needed real world presence on the ground. While liberals activated their ground army of Larry and Linda Liberal, conservatives were asking, why aren't people outraged? Well, the fact of the matter is, they are, but they're also lazy. And so you have to get that outrage and turn it into votes. And that wasn't happening. So, what can we learn for next time? What now? Do we pout for the next 4 years? I sure hope not. We build the machine now. We build the machine that they just beat us with. And here's how. I'm going to actually give conservatives some ideas on how to build that machine over the next few years so that whenever it is, whether it's a year from now or 4 years from now, we can start building a riding level team now. Not in year three, not at the writ drop, not then. Start this month. Build local outreach captains and block captains in every swing riding. Start a club or something that you can do to talk about the politics of the country, the real issues of today. Recruit real people, not just politicos. Not everyone wants to talk ideology. Some people want to know that you just care. Volunteers need to look like the communities they're walking into when it comes time to election to vote again at the election. Reward effort, not titles. The liberals give young people a reason to stay involved sometimes. They give out free food, the $2 Tim cards, brilliant. Social incentives, real tasks that they work with. Conservatives need to do the same now. We have a base now. We've developed a base in this election, but we must activate that base. We've got to create permanent local hubs, offices that stay open year round for conservative MPs that are in office, coffee meetings, visibility. It's all about visibility between elections. Develop a voter contact database that actually works. Know who your voters are. Know who your constituents are. Street by street. Know who moved, who switched, who needs help. Liberals know all of this. And as much as you think they might not, it's because they aren't worried about policy. They're worried about votes. That's how they win close ridings. Now, we need to worry about both because we need true change in this country. But gamify the whole ground game. Make it fun. Make it competitive. Make people want to knock on 50 doors a day. There's got to be something we can do there to make the incentive work for us. Look, the ground game was one big reason why the liberals won, but there were other reasons too, and we can learn a little bit from the liberals in this way. Let's not ignore these other factors. First and foremost, they had the media's narrative cover from day one. Now, most of it's probably because they fund the media, and that does help a lot, but they also had strategic voting campaigns, especially online. They swung critical ridings by convincing NDP and Green voters and Bloc voters to go liberal just this once, just to make sure Pierre Poilievre doesn't get in. We didn't have that. We didn't have that. Liberal data operations targeted culturally aligned voters. They made scary stories up about Donald Trump and about Pierre Poilievre himself. And then they also used personalized messages of how it will affect those culturally aligned voters. Union coordination, though that didn't work as well for them this time, but they didn't do it with endorsements. Labor groups got the vote out where it mattered, not the unions. Voter bribes? Yeah, call them what you want, but offering perks to show up worked. A $2 Tim card was all it took. Now, listen, you're not going to do that for every voter. You do that for the tough ones, and that's what they were doing. Is it all that clean? No, it's not. And it wasn't pretty. But it sure was effective, wasn't it? Because here we sit today. So, whether that was ethical or not, here we are. So, if you're a conservative supporter wondering what happened, this is truly what happened. A lot of things contributed to this, but we did have the best conservative turnout since 1988. What happened here is we got out hustled, out organized, and out ground gamed. That's what happened. But that's not the end of the story. It's just the beginning of the rebuild. Pierre Poilievre has someone giving up his seat in Alberta. He will be back. He will continue to be the conservative leader. And the next election, as crazy as it sounds, starts right now. Not in year 4, not in the final 6 months, now. So, right now, you need to get involved. Join the Conservative Party if you want. Join local groups. Start local. Organize your street if you know that everybody voted Conservative or was going to. Learn how to volunteer. Build the team we didn't have this time. Get ready for the ground game next time so we can out liberal the liberals. Because the only way we win next time is if we outwork them. And this time, we will because this country desperately needs change, and we are already seeing the holes in the Liberal government and Mark Carney specifically. The spend that's about to happen means we are going to need to and have to demand change next time. We demanded it this time, but we got outworked. Next time, let's go. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time.